my name's Katalina Mayaroga. I am originally from the Pacific Northwest. I'm a daughter of Colombian immigrants. I've been living in DC for about the past 7 years. I run 2 businesses right now, a consulting business, just launched El Camino Travel. El Camino came about, 2 things happened. So I was, with my consulting work, I was in Guatemala for 2 weeks doing consulting work. And in between, I had a weekend off where I got to go visit this amazing lake called Lake Atitlan. It's this huge lake in Central America, in middle of Guatemala. It's surrounded by 3 volcanoes and has 12 villages around it. And you get around by water taxi. So I was getting in the water taxi to get to the little town that I was staying at, Santa Cruz. And I noticed all the tourists, including myself, we all had our iPhones or iPads out, and we were just taking pictures of these beautiful volcanoes through that screen. And no one was really looking at what was in front of them. And it kind of just was this moment where like, wow, Instagram, social media, our mobile phones have really changed how we travel and how we perceive travel and what we take in, the experiences we take in. So that's kind of the first thing that happened and just really stuck with me. The second thing that happened was at the end of my trip, I had, or my work, I had a few hours to run up to Antigua. And so I went up to Antigua, was 45 minutes from Guatemala City. And so I had a good chunk of time to talk to my taxi driver. And we started talking about politics and country and a lot of other things. And out of nowhere, he goes, you know, thank goodness for tourism. And I said, well, that's really interesting statement. Why do you say that? And he goes, well, it's the only industry and country that provides me a reliable income and a pretty well-paying income. And the only other industry that really can compete with that is the drug industry. So thank God for tourism because it's keeping me out of the drug industry. And so that really just stuck with me. That aha moment of being like, okay, this is an actual market. So there's an actual supply and demand. No one's forcing this onto anyone. And there's a lot of demand for travel to really unique places. And so on the plane ride back, those 2 moments just kept coming into my head, and I kept thinking about it. By the time I got off the plane, I had the idea for El Camino. The idea is, or the company now that we launched in early July, has 3 pillars. The first pillar is providing really amazing, unique experiences for small groups, 10 to 12 people, to unique locations around the world. So Colombia, Guatemala, Nicaragua, and hopefully be expanding as we grow. And the second aspect is that we bring a photographer along the whole trip, a really talented, creative photographer to capture the whole trip so that people can live in the moment. We don't want to say, you know, we understand, and we as ourselves as travelers, we want to share the memories of our trip, but let's provide people really quality images that then they can share. And so at the end of each day, we give about 30 edited images to our travelers, access to 30 edited images that they can immediately upload to Instagram or their other Facebook or whatever social media. The third aspect is we give 10% of our profits to a local social entrepreneur we feel is really doing amazing work in country and that we've vetted. And in exchange, we ask them to lead a very intimate salons type dinner for our travelers to give them that really unique and positive perspective of the country they're visiting. One really important reason is that we're naturally really trying to change the dialogue around tourism to developing countries. A lot of times people go to developing countries, for example, like Nicaragua, they'll go surfing, they'll have all these awesome experiences, and they'll come back home and they'll talk about it, and they'll say, you know, I did these great things, and blah, 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 and they'll kind of trail off, and then they'll say, but, you know, what a poor country. Those people are so poor. And that's the lasting impression they have. That's kind of the last comment they have. And that we don't think that's fair to the people of the countries we're visiting, because there's so many people in that country, hustlers, entrepreneurs, that are doing amazing work to change their country, to make their life better. And, you know, there's poverty in the United States. And so there's so much more to a country than just poor people. And so introducing our travelers to entrepreneurs who have to naturally be very optimistic, you have to believe in your idea, and who have a really great perspective of their country is very important to us, because it gives our travelers that different perspective and that different lens, and where we hope that they come back more inspired and excited about the places they're visiting and the people that they're meeting, and that poverty is not the only kind of that lasting thought in their head when they come back home. Okay, hi everyone, I'm Katalina Mayaroga, I'm a Wayfarer.